So
I remember when we came to San Francisco, and Aki Krasny took a hotel room, and we stayed in that hotel a whole month. And Margaret could go to school. She walked to school. It was not far from the hotel.
So this is in New York?
That was in San Francisco.
So, okay, so it sounded like you just came to New York, all of a sudden ended up San Francisco. Did you?
In New York we stayed a week.
Okay.
And it was a blizzard.
Huh. And you were in
cold. The children had short pants from England. And I had to run to Macy's to get long pants. And when I came to Macy's, I couldn't believe to see that merchandise what the shop had showed me. In England there was nothing to get, and coming to Macy's in New York there was so much. I was bewildered to see that.
How much money did you have total when you came to the United States?
To the United States, $1,000. Yeah.
How much would that be like today, would you say? Maybe $10,000, $5,000?
Maybe $5,000.
And you had it in cash, obviously. They didn't
Yeah.
have ATM cards. And
we had that in cash. Yeah.
So you stayed for a week, it was freezing.
For a week in New York, and then we came to San Francisco.
How did you get to San
Francisco? We went by train, and in Chicago we stopped. We were invited by my cousin, and we stayed for 3 days in Chicago. And after 3 days we went to San Francisco by train.
So San Francisco was always the goal?
And we had to go to Oakland. And in Oakland we had to take the ferry to San Francisco. And in San Francisco, Tante Aggie picked us up and brought us to the hotel she took for a month. She paid for a month.
So you lived in a hotel here for a month?
Yeah.
What did you think when you first got here? Did you love it?
Yeah.
Right away?
It was so nice and warm after New York. Very nice.
So this was 1948, what time of the year?
That was February. We arrived in January in New York, and in February we were in San Francisco. In San Francisco we got a hotel room. El Drisco. The name was El Drisco, I remember, yeah. It was very comfortable. We were full board. That was very, very comfortable. Then we had to move. And we went to Pacific Avenue. My cousin found an apartment in a beautiful apartment house.
At what point did you, when you left in 1940?
Yeah.
And you told me once before when you said goodbye to your parents. Did you speak to them after you left? Did you ever have any cables or telephone calls or?
I remember when I left Czechoslovakia, my father gave me the blessing. I had to kneel down and he blessed me. They didn't want me to leave because I didn't know where to go. I only had the exit visa to go to Bulgaria, but I had no possibilities of making a reservation, or I didn't even know where to go. So it was a very risky exit from Czechoslovakia. But I had no money and my parents had to take care of us. And I could not see that they had to pay with their little money for me too. So I had to go.
And did you speak to them after you left?
And
Did they know you made it safe to England?
I only could write them a letter. Very, very few letters I could send because I had no money for this stamp.
And when was the last time you heard from them?
And then they wrote us. And then we heard they had to go to Theresienstadt. And from Theresienstadt to the Holocaust.
And who? And it was your mother and your father. Who else?
My father and my mother went into a cattle train, and my mother died in the cattle train.
And it was just the two of them, or was there?
Treblinka.
Were there any other of your siblings or family?
My brother and my sister-in-law and children, they all went to the concentration camp. I wanted so badly that my brother joins me to go to America, and he said, how can I go with my sick wife? She had a deep depression.
This is Ernest and Ilsa?
Ernest. And his wife's name was Ilse, and the child's name was Brigitte. And they all went to Theresienstadt. And that was the end of the.
So of all your siblings, Carl and
Carl
Emmy got out.
Yeah, they got out.
And what about on Grandpa's side? Obviously he did, but then there was Gabby, Lily, Walter, and Ernest.
They all vanished. They all went to Theresienstadt.
And his parents, Joseph and Carla?
Carla, she died in Theresienstadt in typhoid fever.
You found this all out after the war, years later?
That was years later.
So your brother, when he escaped with Milan, right? Carl.
My brother was so fortunate was taken by the last boat to England, and he took Milan along. And I will never forget that, what he did for him.
So did he stay in England, or what happened to Carl?
Carl went to Mexico. And he lived in a little house in Mexico. and then he had a heart attack and died.
Did you visit him there? Did you
Yeah.
ever?
He lived very comfortable.
So you were in touch with him throughout his life?
To the end, yeah.
So back to San Francisco, and you had a new start.
I was right away in a job as a dressmaker.
And you liked it?
Well, I earned a little bit for our living. I remember, I remember the first paycheck I got, I bought a Philco radio. And my cousin said, "How can you do that? You need the money to eat." I said, "Aggie, without a radio, I can't live." So I bought the radio.
How much were you making a month?
I made a month, enough just to eat.
And Grandpa was a waiter
And Grandpa was a waiter.
at the
No, he was a busboy
busboy at the Fairmont.
at the Fairmont, yeah.
And Fred had gotten him the job?
No,
Or no,
he got
Fred-
the job. I don't know how he got the job. He went every day to the union, and he wanted to become a union member, but it was so difficult to get in there.
So this was maybe 1940,
48,
48.
yeah,
So Grandpa was 48 years
Yeah.
old already,
yeah,
which was pretty old
yeah.
back then, and so you were
I was 12 years young.
36,
Yeah,
and you had 2 children.
2 children.
Margaret was
Margaret was
7, 8,
7, 8, yeah.
and
And
Tom,
Tom was 12, 11, 12. Yeah. I was working and he had to take care of Margaret. He did not such a good job. He said, "Go home from school, go home." Instead to take her home, he just said, "Go home."
Hang on one second. Tell Margaret to go home.
I could never trust Tom. He was always on his own.
So how did Sophie and George come into the picture?
Well, then George, no, I got a letter from Milan's brother Ernest from Cuba. Ernest was in Cuba and he wanted to come to America. And he wrote us a letter, and I said to Milan, "How can you help him? We hardly make our own." "Yeah, I have to help him. He's my brother. He has to leave Cuba. He has to come." So he had a friend in Cuba, and he knew Dr. Fuchs in San Francisco. So he wrote us a letter, and I called up Dr. Fuchs, and he came, and I said, "What is your address? I have a letter I want to send you." And he said, "No, I come and pick it up myself." And so we learned the Fuchsens. We got to learn about the Fuchsens.
So Ernest survived. So he
Ernest
did
survived.
escape.
He came and he stayed with us for 6 months in the bedroom where Tom and Margaret stayed. So Tom and Margaret had to go to live in a closet. There was no other room. And Auntie Krasny, Auntie Aggie said, how can you do that? The children in a closet, so for Ernest to stay? And Milan said, yes, he's my brother. So we took care of him for 6 months.
So Ernest must have left, Czechoslovakia and gone straight to Cuba.
Yeah, he went to Cuba.
But then Gabby, Lily, and Walter.
With his son, Harry. Remember Harry?
Of course.
Yeah. So Milan took care of Ernest.
Now, was that Ernest or Ernst?
Ernest Roth.
And I've met. Did I meet Uncle Ernst, or was that a different Uncle
I
Ernst?
think you did. No.
I think I. Yeah, I mean,
Korek, we called him. Remember Korek? No.
Mm-mm.
His name was.
So
Ernest.
he was, and Ernest was on the boat with Harry.
Yeah.
Which was the Voyage of the Damned.
Yes.
Okay. And that was this boat that no country would accept.
Yeah.
And eventually Cuba accepted them.
And then Milan sent him the money, and he could make it to come here.
But the other brothers, Walter, Lily, Gabby.
All gone. That was horrible when we lived in Pacific Avenue and we were 5 people in one bedroom and one living room and one dining room. But it worked. Somehow it worked. If you have to, you can do it.
So this was in the late 40s, and it wasn't until 1953 was the dry cleaning store.
Yeah.
Had you bought your house yet?
Yeah.
When did you buy the house?
I think a year later.
54.
And Aki lended us $3,000 to buy the house.
Which was $15,000.
Yeah.
And that house was located?
On 28th Avenue.
What was the address?
20. What was the address? Something. Can't remember anymore. Isn't that funny? I can't remember.
You only lived there for
years.
Yeah. 30 plus years.
28 and Noriega. But I can't remember the house number.
It'll come to you when we leave, probably.
Yeah.
So you opened the dry cleaning store at Haight in Ashbury.
Haight in Ashbury.
Do you remember that address? No. And in 1953, it was a nice neighborhood.
And then the flower children came.
But that wasn't for later. In 1953, was it middle class, pretty nice place?
It was a nice little store.
And you did, and both you and Grandpa?
I made the alteration, and Milan had the store.
And then
we made our living.
So did you actually do the dry cleaning? Did you personally?
No.
You sent it away?
No, we sent it out,
okay.
Yeah. We sent it out. And it came ready, yeah.
And I'm sure you had a lot of nice customers over the years.
Oh yeah.
And
nice
you worked 7 days a week?
We were 7 days, only Sunday we were closed.
Okay, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
And long hours?
From Milan left the house at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we came home by 6 o'clock. And then we had already a car,
So you started to get more comfortable.
Yeah.
And was this a happier time?
Yeah, much happier, much better, much better.
When did you start to notice that the neighborhood was changing?
Well, that was already 63 or 64. And Milan retired by 65.
So he was 65 years old.
And I think
you were 53.
I carried on another year, and then we closed up.
So maybe 1966?
Yeah, something like that.
Did you sell the store, or did you just...
Yeah. We sold the store.
So you sold it a little 2 years before the Summer of Love. So you had that good timing.
Yeah. What did we do after we sold? Isn't that funny? I can't remember what we did.
Did you start taking some trips?
Yeah, but we did something. I think oh yeah, I got a job in a store, in a other cleaning store. I just got the job, and I helped there in the cleaning store. That was my income, yeah. I remember, yeah. And I worked until Milan got sick. Milan got sick in 80. A whole year he got leukemia. And in 81 he died.
So
and I stayed in the house 5 more years. And then I got one night I didn't feel well. I was all alone in the house. I didn't feel well, and I called 911, and I decided to come to the Sequoias.
So after Grandpa retired in 65,
Yeah.
would you say so he lived to be 80,
To
81?
81 he died.
So were those last years, were a happy time for him?
Well,
You'd mentioned that he started taking Prozac at some
Yeah.
point,
he
and his
was-
depression got better.
He was not well, no. He was not well at all.
He had bouts of being manic and then
Yeah,
being
manic.
depressed.
He was manic, yeah. And he got Prozac, and that was my refuge. I was so happy.
When was this?
That was just coming out, Prozac.
What year?
That must have been, well, what year was that? '70, 79, 78, 79.
So just a couple years before he got sick.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a very tough time for me. But he was so happy when he was high. He was so happy.
So Mom excelled in school, well, all levels, right?
And Margaret was very well. She was every weekend with the Fuchsens. That was a big help to me. And Tommy was very, very jealous that the Fuchsens are so good with Margaret.
Why did they like her so much?
Well, they had no children and she was a good child. She liked Sophie a lot. And they helped Margaret a lot too. George said she has to go to Stanford. And in Lincoln High School, she had a very good teacher, the French teacher, and she liked Margaret a lot. And she said, we make her go to Stanford. And that's why she made it to Stanford, by scholarship.
And then she did some studying at Radcliffe too.
Yeah.
That must have been exciting.
She was a wonderful, wonderful child.
What education had you completed?
I only had high school.
And what about Grandpa? Did he only have high school too?
No, he went to gymnasium, but then his father got sick and his mother had to take him out of school to take him to the store. And he wanted so much to become a doctor. He couldn't make it. At that time you had to do what the parents said.
So do you remember when Margaret met Ron? Do you remember?
Margaret went to Chicago. She had a friend in Chicago. And he was an Englishman. She met in school, I think, yeah. And he wanted to marry her. And then things fell apart. And she was in Chicago and had a job in Chicago. And she met Ron. And Ron was head over heel in love with her. And she had a date and he was waiting downstairs, Ron was waiting downstairs with candies and flowers. And she came down and here he was. So he invited her to New York to his parents. And I remember she told me, she called me, Mother, they want me to stay with Ron in one room overnight. And I don't want that.
Sam and Adele?
Yeah.
They wanted?
Yeah. So he just overtook her completely and married her.
That's what she told me.
Yeah.
He tried very hard.
And when she came home with Ron, I was disappointed.
Why were you disappointed?
I didn't care for him. There was another guy from Stanford I liked very much, and she didn't like him.
So she married
She
Ron.
married Ron.
And they married here in San Francisco at the Fairmont.
Yeah, that was a beautiful wedding. Fred Roth made the wedding.
By that time, were you happier for them, or did you always feel Ron was a little strange?
I got used to it, yeah. But he treated Margaret not well. Ron.
Well, how so?
He was very possessive, and he told her what to do, and this is not right, and this is not right. And I was so upset when I visited and I heard him talking to Margaret. Upsetted me a lot.
And she moved so far away too, I guess.
And then you were born, and we came to visit.
In Connecticut?
Yeah. And I remember they went out to a movie, and we took care of you. And suddenly, you stopped breathing. And I took you and I shaked you. And then you came to it. I got so scared. And when she came home, I told her. She didn't believe me.
That's good to know. I did not know that. I was just like SIDS, like sudden, just sleeping, and
You stopped breathing.
While I was sleeping or while I was awake?
You were sleeping. And I was sitting next to your crib and heard that. And I jumped up and took you. And you came to it.
Wow. I did not know that.
Yeah.
Did you like Sam and Adele?
Very much. I liked Sam so much. He was a lovely man.
How about Grandpa? Did he like Ron, or did he?
We visited the Danzigs in Connecticut. They had a nice house.
Were they in New Milford?
With a swimming pool.
Yes, okay, so you went to New Milford.
And then she had a field with asparagus and raspberries. I still can see that.
The berry patch.
Yeah, a patch. Yeah, they were very nice, very nice.
And then Josh was born.
And then Josh was
2 years later.
I think Ron didn't want Josh. He only wanted one child. And aren't we glad he is born?
You think that, or that was?
No, he didn't want.
I think Mom had an abortion after me.
Really? Mommy had an abortion after Josh was born?
I don't know.
That's what she told Gigi that.
Oh yeah? I didn't know.
I did not know that either. It was a girl?
Mom was very upset.
Yeah?
Because Dad didn't want a third child?
Something like that, yeah. Well, he had his own mind about, oi. Well,
So what do you think would be your happiest memory? What was like the time where
I have my peace and here in the Sequoias.
So this last 25 years has been the most peaceful.
15 years with Susan. That was my happiest time. I had peace. I could do what I wanted. I was taken care of well here. It was my happiest time. Now that's it.
Yeah.
That particle, what they took out, they have still, they can put it back. They said there will be a time when they will put it back. Because the operation was made, I think here, no? In San Francisco.
No, the ear was
Nashville.
Atlanta.
No, it was Nashville, wasn't
The
it?
last one was in Nashville, yeah.
In Nashville?
Yeah.
How did you...
Specialist.
What?
Specialist in Nashville. We would drive. It's 4 hours from Atlanta.
Dr. Glasscock.
Yeah.
How did you get there to Nashville?
Drove. Ron drove. 4 hours on the highway, you just drive.
Josh used to have to swim and take a bath with a earplug.
Yeah.
Oh, he does?
He used
Not
to,
now, he used to.
but they took out the eardrum, so now he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Because water would go straight, I think, like
Yeah.
in your brain, basically. I mean,
No, I don't think it was that, but just get infected.
Yeah.
Moisture.
Well, but now, thank God, everything is okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, before you get an adult, you make your experiences. But you should have seen him when he was small. He had a head full of curls.
Yeah.
And he was sitting in Stonestown on the floor at Woolworth's and with the feet like this and reading. And we found you there. And I was so happy to see you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the women are okay.
Yeah.
Gigi's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, fine.
Isn't it wonderful? You can just take off and go.
Yeah. Every once in a while, you know.
Yeah. And when will you pay back?
oh, there will be payback.
Oh.
No?
Yeah.
Yeah. The girls go to New York probably this summer for a
The
weekend.
girls?
Yeah. Go shopping or go. Yeah.
They have a life of Riley. They have a jackpot marrying you two.
We think so.
They don't have to work. They don't have to worry about the income. It's wonderful, no?
Yeah. Gigi will say that she works though the laundry and the.
She works hard too.
Yeah.
They both do.
Yeah. Does Amy have somebody coming in to clean
Yes.
once a week or once a month?
Twice a month.
Twice a month.
Her mother.
Her mother?
Her mother is cleaning houses for her job.
You're kidding.
No. That is a long story. I need a whole other tape for that.
She lives without a husband.
Yes.
Is she a nice lady?
Yes.
You get along with her?
Yes.
So her mother comes and she pays her.
Yes, we pay her. We help her out. She needs
How much does she get per hour?
just $100 every time she cleans, but it takes a whole day. She does it by herself. That's a
I
whole
have
other
a
story.
woman coming in once a month. No, a girl comes cleaning. She makes a bed. She cleans the bathroom, but no dusting. So I have a woman coming in once a month. She for 2 hours I pay her $30.
$15 an hour is good.
And she brings you crab?
No, the crab lady, the beautician brought me a
Oh.
crab.
Downstairs, we do.
Yeah, that's not heard of.
The crab is very expensive.
Yeah, and I wanted to pay her, and she said, no.
That's nice. Everybody likes you.
But the crab yesterday was better,
Clean and
because the other crab I had to peel myself. Yeah.
yeah.
So what's probably the favorite place you've ever been to travel or lived, or what do you think is your favorite place?
You mean in my life?
Yes.
The favorite place? When we were in Israel, that was a big surprise. That was really very nice.
Which part? Jerusalem?
Jerusalem and Tel Aviv. That was very
You and Grandpa went?
Yeah.
When was this?
And Auntie Emmy and Uncle Heini. That was 60.
It's about 12 years after Israel was a state.
When Dora came to Israel, there were no streets. There was, they lived in a one room, I don't know where, with friends, with friends.
So she and Fred, after your going to Israel in 48, when you came here, right?
Oh yeah.
They went
I took, we gave them the affidavit,
to come here.
yeah.
What was Dora's, so how did Dora, was she related? I know you are her aunt.
Yeah.
So whose daughter?
Fred's father was the brother of my husband, Yoshko.
Was the father, Fred's father was
Fred's
Milan.
Milan's brother.
Yes.
Which brother?
Yoshko.
I've got Gabby, Lily, Milan,
Gabi,
Walter, and Ernest.
Walter, Ernst, Walter,
Lily and Gabby.
Lily. Yeah.
But who's? So Milan had another brother named Yoshko?
Yoshko.
Yoshko?
J-O-Z-K-O.
Mm-hmm. Joshko Roth.
Yeah.
So this was another brother of Milan.
Yeah.
And Fred was his son.
Yeah.
And then Fred married Dora.
Yeah.
So Dora was not really related to the family, it was Fred.
No.
Okay. And so what happened, so briefly, what was Dora's story? I know she actually was in Auschwitz, right?
She was not in Auschwitz, she was where was she? In a worker. She was working
In a work camp.
12 hours a day, and she stood in water. That's what she said. It was a thread. They made it threads, you know. Yeah.
Textile.
Yeah, in textile.
So Dora and Fred were.
I think Schindler made her.
She worked in one of his factories.
Yeah.
So Fred and Dora were married before they were. No.
Before they went to Israel.
Okay, so they met each other after the war.
after the war.
Okay. So she was in this camp and was liberated?
The camp was liberated, yeah.
Now, is there a story that was she in the camp with her mother or a sister?
No, that was Erika, Fred's sister. Erika and Erna was Fred's mother.
Irma?
Erna,
Erna.
yeah.
And then Erica was a sister of Fred.
Yeah.
And
And she took her life in Israel.
And she and Dora were in the camp together?
No.
No.
Dora had nothing to do. Dora came on, I think, in Marienbad. They got married. Fred and Dora. Yeah.
Okay, so where was Fred during the war?
During the war in England.
So he escaped to England.
Yeah.
Before the deportation started.
Yeah.
And then Dora was in the camp, and then once she was liberated, somehow she made it to England. Is that where they met?
They met in Marienbad.
Where is that?
In Czechoslovakia.
After the war, or they had met?
After the war, they met.
So Fred went back after the war from England back to Czechoslovakia.
He was a soldier. He was in the army, in the Czech army. And he came to England. Yeah. To remember all that, I can't. It's hard.
I know.
Dora went to the Holocaust when she was a young girl. She was, I think, 14 or 15 till to the end, yeah. She had no schooling. And then she had Karen, and Fred was very upset. They had a child. And then she had an abortion. And then they came to America from Israel. And Fred wanted to come alone. And Dora said, no, either you go and we come with you, or you don't go. So she was...
Why did he want to go alone? He just wanted a divorce, or?
No, just to see how he can make it here.
Oh.
But he got a job right away. He was a very fortunate man.
He got the Fairmont was right away, or no? Not.
No, in New York, Massachusetts, I don't know. Yeah, right away. He worked and then they came to San Francisco by car. And they had the whole, whatever they possessed, it was in the car. And the television on top of the car. And when they arrived in San Francisco, the wheels from the car were so deflated because it was so heavy.
Did you know Dora before they arrived?
No.
When she arrived, that was when you
Yeah.
first met her.
Yeah.
But you were related to Dora.
No.
Fred.
No, Fred was not related either. She was
A
somebody
stranger.
they met in Marienbad, and
Yeah.
her cousin, Dora's cousin, introduced her to Fred. Yeah.
But Fred was your Cool.
Fred was my nephew.
Nephew. Really cousin, right?
Well,
If Fred's dad was Grandpa's brother,
And Fred was his son, his nephew.
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 Grandpa, yes, okay.
They couldn't believe that I'm their aunt here.
What was your favorite memory of San Francisco?
My favorite memory in San Francisco. When Margaret got all these rewards. No, what do you say? Rewards?
Awards.
Awards, yeah. She was making me so happy. And then she got the scholarship for for Stanford. That was a big thing.
Quite an accomplishment.
Yeah. I was so proud of her. And I had the good fortune to be with all her interviews and with all her activities. And Milan had to stay in the store to work. I remember that. I really was very happy. And then when I bought myself in here, in the Sequoias, I felt very good too. Because I was feeling I was taken care of.
And would you say the park is maybe your favorite place, or parts of the park, or is there just some place you really enjoyed being in the city?
Well, I think I'm now very well satisfied living here.
And your advice after 99 years to
My advice to live to be adjusted and feel well enough to enjoy my life.
Is there anything you regret, you just really wish you had done or gone someplace?
No,
No? That's good.
no, I was in so many places, and I thank for all the trips and we did when I was younger. Well,
Just a second. Why was she worried about me?
because you were very nervous. You were running around and
active?
Yeah. Overactive.
It was hard for her, wasn't it?
I remember when she came once and we went to Cote Madeira in the swimming pool, and you just couldn't settle down. And you were walking and walking, and I went with her. It wasn't easy. Margaret had not an easy life.
Where was my dad? Like in that instance.
Well, this was unfortunate. That was terrible.
What?
When he left her.
No, like when I was at the swimming pool. I mean, did my dad chase me around too, or was that kind of my mom's job?
No, your dad wasn't here. She was here with you alone.
She brought me out on a trip by herself. Because Zachary's very busy too,
Yeah.
and we have to chase him around.
These are the nerves. This is.
But Mom was, she was anxious anyway, right? And
You think there's something wrong? No. Gigi is not so easy to get along with.
These relationships are very, marriage is just strain, and when you have children, before children it's so much easier to, it's still hard to have a relationship with somebody, and then when children come it's just so much energy, and so
No, it's the children are children. They have to grow up. They
So-
have to be taught.
So you had 5 grandchildren, and then of course Lisa passed away, and then you have 8 great-grandchildren. So that must give you a lot of pleasure.
Oh God, yes. I said to Tommy, I say, you don't know what you have. The children don't take drugs. They are proper. You are so fortunate.
Does it ever occur to you that if you hadn't done some of the valiant things you did back in those dark days, that none of us would be here to talk? I mean, does that ever occur to you?
Well, I said, if I wouldn't have had the guts to leave Czechoslovakia, nothing from you would be here. Nobody would be here.
No? I think you know how much we all appreciate that.
Well, I appreciate you. I said yesterday to the people downstairs, I have the best grandchildren. That you should have seen them, how they take care of me, and how we went and enjoyed our lunch. That was really unique. Now he calls up somebody else.
He's always busy.
He is a smart guy.
Very smart. So in 2 months we'll come back for your 100th birthday party.
Now let's hope I can make it.
Oh yes.
I will try very hard. Tommy tells me every day, yesterday too, you have to go to the gym. You have to go to the gym. It is so hard for me to walk.
We've walked a lot of, many miles in 99 years.
He's doing a lot of sport, Tom.
Yeah.
He's playing tennis. And he walks every morning. I'm sure that prostate cancer is only quiet because he's doing that sport.
Yeah, he was lucky to
Yeah.
catch that.
You are well. You have no problem. But you try to make sport too, no?
Yeah.
Are you running every day?
I do some kind of exercise 3 to 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Changes in the seasons.
And you play golf how many times?
Not much,
Not much.
but I'd like to play more.
How is your son doing?
He's great.
Yeah.
We got him little golf clubs, and he swims. He's learning to swim, and he plays soccer.
How many children?
For me?
No, Sam.
Sam. Sam has 3.
3 children?
Yes. We're trying to get him to come to your birthday.
You do?
I'm trying to. He's going to see about getting a ticket.
He's a nice guy.
Yeah.
He's a lawyer, no?
Yes.
And he has a nice wife?
Yes. Yeah, we've been friends for a long time.
I remember he was a nice guy. You know who writes me every year?
No.
Al.
He was a good friend of Mom.
Every year for Christmas. But not a card with an envelope, no.
A real letter.
A postal card.
Oh, postcard, okay. It's nice for him to remember you.
He was so stingy. I said to Margaret, you know, he is such a nice man. Can't you get along with him? And she says, he is so stingy, it hurts.
Mom had a lot of interesting friends.
Everything all right? Gigi's okay?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
No problem.
No. She just hadn't heard from me, so. Yeah, they're going to lunch. Sam went to Sunday school, and then they go to lunch and shop a little bit and go home.
Good.
Yeah.
She's glad that her sister left? No. Yeah?
Yeah. That's a lot of work, you know, for a whole week they were there. 8 days.
Is her sister married?
Yes. 2 boys.